Dear Sagittarius, I am here. An elder of the spirit, a guide who has walked long beneath the stars, reaching across time and silence to touch the core of your heart. With reverence, with wisdom harvested through storms, and with the quiet blessing of a voice that has seen many lifetimes. Before the first card turns, I pause and whisper over them, not just to scatter the dust of doubt, but to summon the sacred, to invite only the truth that your soul is prepared to hold. You've arrived not by accident. This moment was marked for you. Welcome to the fire, where stories become mirrors, where truth speaks in flames, and the old self begins to loosen its grip. Tonight, a blessing settles gently on your right shoulder. Not loud, but steady. It tells me you are being protected, watched over, loved from realms unseen. May the seeds of every pure dream you've ever dared to hold take root on the land of your destiny. And may no hand, no word, no shadow uproot them again. In the comments, if you feel this in your soul, write, I am ready to receive all the good that I deserve. Not because the universe needs your words, but because your own heart needs your permission. The candles are lit, the table is set, and the path ahead has already heard your name. Let us begin. The cards stir because they have seen the silent awakening inside you, a kindling light after a long, unseen winter. You may not have told anyone, but your soul has already shifted. A message rang in your spirit, not with thunder, but like the sound of dry leaves moving before the rain. You noticed things. You noticed people. And now, you see what you weren't meant to miss anymore. There are those who fed off your light, smiled while they drained you, praised you in daylight, then muttered your name in shadow. You will soon hear of them, of betrayal, of masks, of plans made behind closed doors. But instead of breaking you, this will lift you, because your awareness is no longer asleep. This awakening isn't just mental, it's spiritual. And the power of spiritual awakening is that it doesn't seek revenge. It seeks clarity. You now see clearly who is pretending, who is projecting, and who is silently watching your rise while biting their tongue. Someone wants to speak to you, to reach out. But illness or shame or a wall they built themselves holds them back. Envy has infected even places you once called safe. In the realm of career or creativity, someone resents your calm. They want your glow, but not your journey. In the mirrors of those you call family, I see glances, mother figures, sister energies, for some, a distant lover or estranged child, all tuning in, all watching the new strength you radiate. For some of you, love has returned, unexpected, pure, and quiet, and it has reignited jealousy in those who are still afraid of joy. For others, this is a chapter of self-breakthrough, and your joy, your smile, has become too loud for those who live in silence. Some have taken your image, your words, even your story, and tried to use it in spells, in mockery, in sabotage. I see someone who shares your bloodline, but not your soul frequency, trying to block what is blossoming. This may come disguised as concern, but beneath it is fear, not of your failure, but of your power. A legal issue, inheritance, or shared resource is also rising. Something that was meant to be shared was kept from you. You were pushed out of the center slowly until they hoped you'd forget you belonged there. At work, in business, eyes are on you. But not all are kind. Some are waiting for you to fall, not because you wronged them, but because you dared to rise without their permission. The light on your face is peace, but to some, that peace is provocation, because they thrive in noise. You are learning to thrive in stillness. The spirit realm has watched your journey. They have seen the losses you never spoke of, the nights no one held your hand, the betrayals that should have broken you, but instead carved space for a deeper soul to emerge. And now your energy is calibrating toward justice, balance, boundaries, and above all, personal evolution. You are being supported not just by stars, but by soul contracts that are finally ready to complete. Karmic threads are dissolving. Your pain did not go unnoticed. And now, the next season of your life will not be built from what you lost, but from what you now know. Let this be your mantra. I do not chase. I do not force. I allow. I rise. I receive. Because the wind is shifting, not against you, but toward you. And those who tried to block the river of your blessings will now see that rivers can find new paths. And your soul, it is already flowing. You've begun to notice the shadows behind the smiles. Those who drained your light now tremble under the weight of a truth they can no longer suppress. Someone, yes, someone in the background tried to reach you, but the message never arrived. Because something far greater is about to erupt. A storm of revelation, a reckoning cloaked in silence. The universe has delayed the conversation to deliver a divine verdict first. The ones who once plotted in whispers now feel panic. They watched you from the sidelines, waiting for your downfall as if it were a theatrical tragedy meant to entertain them. One of them knows a secret spoken in hushed tones, a truth about you that they never had the courage to confirm with your eyes. And yet, amid the chaos, a woman awakens. But she does not awaken whole. She carries disease, sorrow, and the residue of karmic backlash. She brings with her lessons written in fire and regrets soaked in ash. Your pain, your most tender suffering, was triggered by 3 specific figures. And now, judgment moves. You are protected, surrounded by ancestral guardians who cloak you from malice. They've seen the temples, where your name was spoken not in prayer, but in curses. They've watched individuals beg for your collapse in places where witches dance and envy grows like vines. But you did not fall, and your survival has become their heartbreak. Some weep in silence, others burn with rage that their dark rituals bore no fruit, and someone else, yes, another soul, wants to speak with you, but the nearness of death holds them back, separating the moment of truth by mere heartbeats. They know things about the circle around them, about a group you may never have seen, but they were always watching. This person has witnessed karma arrive. They are retreating from that circle now, but fear ties their tongue. They wait for the right moment, but time is slipping. The cards confirm this. Your reading begins with the Chariot. Your path diverges from the familiar. Old ties fray. You are no longer who you were, and the people who once called you theirs cannot reach your frequency. The Hanged Man. Those who conspired now face stagnation, caught in webs of their own making as you rise through surrender, not force. The Knight of Cups. A sacred messenger arrives not on horseback, but through intuition. Your heart, though wounded, still leads you home. And yes, the Ace of Swords follows you like a divine sword of clarity, a blade that slices through illusions, a truth that cannot be untold, a sacred contract with the light, and with it appears a royal energy, a matriarch, a feminine force both sharp and sovereign. From that sword, you cut away the parasitic ties. You step into spiritual sovereignty. You are no longer pleading for peace. You are becoming it. Your soul has been crowded by many, but somehow still lonely. That void, it is finally being filled, not with noise, but with rightful belonging. Celebrations are near. Genuine joy, unexpected surprises, but so are spiritual attacks. The Queen of Swords emerges. For some, she is a cold maternal figure. For others, a sibling, a rival, a karmic woman whose tongue is sharper than truth itself. She has worked in shadows, and her presence is flanked by Judgment and 10 of Swords. This is not subtle. This is warfare. 2 female energies circle you, and one has uttered the words, "The cards will fall dead." Between them, a psychic battle brews. One seeks redemption, the other, control. The one who wants to speak has tried to call, but her health weakens when she approaches the truth. A force, unseen, drains her, keeping her silent. Why? Because that truth would expose dark rituals, hidden property betrayals, energetic thefts. Your body, your home, your soul have been the target of manipulations. This sword is not just for truth. It governs air and thought. And this battle has now moved from spirit to matter. You may receive pieces of their confession, but never the whole. Because just as truth nears your door, it's blocked by that same queen, a woman who cannot tolerate your knowing, but her time is ending. Beneath the surface, a massive spiritual recalibration is underway. You didn't see it coming, but others have been working hard to destroy your flow, your joy, your growth. And you? You gave, you forgave, you offered your home, your food, your name. You opened your gates only to be misunderstood, misused, and maligned. The betrayal was not just social, it was sacred. And still, you did not curse them. Now, your intuition rings louder. Prophecy is near. Some are trying to delay the coming judgment, but the knocking on the door is not metaphor. It is real. Knight of Swords says, 4 or 5 figures track your every move. They fear what you might know, or worse, what you might become. Wheel of Fortune turns, and 8 of Pentacles speaks. This is your destiny, tied to your work, to your craft, to your effort. What they suffer now is not your doing. It is what they summoned through their own threads of karma. That same queen now faces what she conjured: sickness, destruction, greed. 4 and 5 of Swords confirm it. Silent betrayals, deteriorating health, false deals. A man may have aided her, but even he now knows the wheel doesn't stop spinning for guilt. News will come about one of them collapsing or being paid off to keep you from the truth. But you will know, because your spirit has already whispered it. You are being purified, transformed. You are no longer compatible with the places, people, or patterns that once demanded your presence. You no longer answer the calls that cost you your peace. You no longer visit places that drain your essence. And they know this. And for some, it burns. But for you, Sagittarius, this is the beginning. You are no longer circling the same karmic wheel. You are rising above it. You've become the arrow, not the target, the fire, not the spark. And that is what terrifies them. There are those who gave you gifts, but not out of love. They gave to control, to shame you later, to tether you with false generosity, to decorate their manipulation with ribbons and smiles. But your spirit doesn't resonate with that frequency anymore. You've stepped away from familiar faces, even ones still entangled in relationships, yet obsessed with making your life miserable from the shadows. If you've gone silent with someone who once harmed you, know this: they curse your name during holidays and perform quiet rituals hoping to pull you back into the pain. But the wheel is already spinning you out of that path. You are being purified by fire, Sagittarius. Heaven has witnessed every false offering, every poisoned compliment, every backhanded act of kindness. The divine and the archangels have stood beside you, guarding your light, while enemies circled with blades made of words and envy. And now, their time is closing. Queen of Swords, Five of Swords, Knight of Swords. Together, they form a trio of hostility, a court of accusation intent on dismantling your joy simply because you dared to survive. But listen, a message is coming, a quiet prophecy, an unseen trumpet is sounding. The cards speak of an ending, a cycle closing, a sacred gate swinging open, and the kind of success you once only dreamed of is now preparing to embrace you. Your past betrayals brought you to your knees. At times, you looked to the heavens and asked, why does it hurt again? Why does the wound reopen? The Wheel of Fortune whispers, because the pattern had to be broken at the root. Across generations, across bloodlines, across love stories that never loved you back. You're not just healing from one person. You're cleansing the DNA of your family, disentangling yourself from ancestral loops of toxic lovers, broken trust, and inherited pain that wore many disguises. It has not been easy, Knight of Wands confirms. You fought with courage even when no one saw the battle. Even when the weapons were silence and shame. The spiritual realm has kept the records. And now, it will restore the balance. The star shines above you, and the tower rises, not to destroy you, but to collapse what was built on resentment. 3 people will fall by their own hand, not because you fought them, but because divine order demands it. Archangel Michael enters now, not with fury, but with a sword forged in truth. A scandal may break, not by your doing, but as the natural consequence of what they tried to hide. What crumbles now will nourish the roots of justice that have always been meant for you. In love, you've already walked away, or soon will, from someone who withheld their heart. You've grown tired of waiting for someone to return with the same love you once gave freely. Perhaps they left for another. Perhaps they're engaged to someone else now. Perhaps there are others involved, layers of deception too heavy to carry. But now they sit, isolated in their illusion, haunted by a collapse they can't bear to face. They thought they had divine favor, but that light they leaned on was yours, your prayers, your protection, and when they released you, the light followed. Two of Pentacles reversed shows imbalance, stagnant finances, disrupted rhythms. You left with nothing but pain, and years spent sweeping up the shards of failed relationships. But now, Ace of Cups, the Sun. Love returns, radiance glows again, a new day breaks across your spirit. And yet, Eight of Cups warns, you may hear of their downfall, their sorrow, their undoing. Do not mistake it for your responsibility. History is turning in your favor, not out of vengeance, but out of equilibrium. Take a breath and look behind you. All the places you once entered feeling hope, but left drained. All the conversations that wounded deeper than they healed. All the cycles you finally chose to step out of. Your silence is the medicine. The chariot reminds you, you are now the driver of your fate. No more waiting for rescue. No more bending to stay loved. The hanged man taught you the value of sacred surrender, of letting go in order to see. The Knight of Cups restored your inner compass. Your sensitivity is no weakness. It's a sacred messenger, a pathfinder through chaos. Ace of Swords, your sword of air, cuts through illusions, guilt, and lingering cords. No spell survives the clarity you now carry. And the Empress, she plants new seeds of self-love, creative power, and the ability to nurture without abandoning yourself again. A horn sounds, judgment rises, calling out injustices around money, homes, inheritances, and broken health. 10 of Swords says, you have reached a point of no return, the Queen of Swords, and her secret court have crossed the divine boundary. But justice doesn't shout, it arrives quietly, and this time, it's already at your door. Archangel Michael now stands guard. Wherever there are knots, there will soon be clean cuts. The wheel turns. None can stop it. Eight of Pentacles encourages honor your work, your time, your focus. Your craft will be your anchor. Four of Swords invites rest, stillness, deep breathing. You've earned the exhale. Five of Swords says, this fight is not yours to finish. You've already survived more than most. Knight of Swords may still follow you, but the star shields you, and when the tower finally comes for them, what was never rooted in truth will fall. Comment to affirm, I am protected, I walk with clarity, I trust divine justice. I speak to you now as a seasoned guide of spirit and stars. You are an archer bought not to follow paths, but to aim above them. You've recognized the ones who once gifted you not with love, but leverage. Those who gave to own some silent claim over your calm, your fire, your becoming. Their generosity came with a ledger you never agreed to sign, but your soul has already cancelled the contract. The cards turn, and the symbols repeat across your journey. Two of Coins reminds you that life is a pulse. Give and receive, rise and settle, wait and release. Eight of Cups affirms that dignity is not found in staying wounded where others applaud the wound. It's found in leaving before the applause can reach you, and standing beside your dawn, the holy arrival of the chalice, Ace of Cups with its overflowing rebirth, and the sovereign warmth of the sun pour open, a chapter cleansed in light, calling you forward, not to rehearse your past, but to finally author your future. You gave advice when you barely had breath. You carried torches for those who would later resent the warmth, the ones who wished your peace smaller, slower, quieter, are now suspended in their own unmasking. Fear silenced some. Guilt sickened others. Manipulation shielded the rest. But truth has an aerial blade. Clarity is now your strongest armor. Your intuition has become education. Your silence has become strategy. And your softest prayer has become your loudest triumph. They watched you from the sidelines, expecting collapse as a spectacle. But no spectacle arrived because you learned the art of sacred withdrawal. Not a dramatic exit, but a spiritual unfollowing. This is where the feminine archetype rises. The fierce matriarch, Queen of Swords, once ruled through sharp shadows. She and her energy of discord, alongside Five of Swords and the restless Knight, built their empire on conditional giving, chaotic blaming, ancestral stagnation, energetic exhaustion. But now enters the one who nurtures properly. The sacred creator, the Empress, doesn't strip your identity. She restores it. She plants boundaries as blessings, not punishments. She teaches that compassion is sacred only when it doesn't amputate self-worth, and the end of suffering is sealed with a boundary blade. The unavoidable finale, Ten of Swords, marks the moment you finally stop begging heaven for answers and begin hearing heaven beg you to rise. Because spiritual loops are inherited like weather in the bones. But loops end where awareness meets decision. The turning wheel is not coincidence. It is permission finally granted. To you, by you, for you. The Tao collapses what was never rooted in love to begin with. Not your structure, but theirs. Justice emerges like inevitable echo, grounded in your redemption, your quiet strength, your mental mastery. And the discipline message closes the cosmic sequence. Work your craft, honor your journey, master your patience, focus like a legacy builder, not a flame that burns out. Rest when the fight is not yours. Rise when it is written. Speak when it is truth. Leave when it is leeching. This is the education of fate. Eight of Pentacles reminds you your future stabilizes fastest when you anchor to work, not war. Four of Swords whispers, you've earned the exhale before the next expand. Knight of Cups explains, you don't lead with rage, you lead with soul instinct. Knight of Swords warns, fast demanding energy is not alignment, it's interference. And three cards crown your closure again. The Chalice, the Blade, the Sun. New emotional intelligence, new spiritual ownership, new non-negotiable radiance. Because your story has now become an ancestral lesson, not a personal anecdote. Your rise is a lighthouse that does not apologize for shining. You cleanse not by cursing them back, but by exiting their orbit entirely. You are no longer the spectacle they hoped for. You are the silence they were never prepared to interpret. And now, the final life lesson for Sagittarius. If love arrives demanding air thicker than prayer, or gifts heavier than your soul frequency can hold, set them down gently like a sleeping child in your arms and walk forward like the arrow you were born to be. The heavens don't crown perfection. They crown survival without bitterness, strength without noise, and fire without cruelty. The wheel says, you are no longer repeating. The tower says, you are no longer blamed. The magnetism says, you are no longer chasing. The star says, you are no longer cursed. And the sun says, you are no longer small enough to be unseen again. Close the circle without closing your heart. Aim your arrow without forgiving the wound. Rise with peace that cannot be questioned. Receive with dignity that cannot be bargained. That is the education of Sagittarius now. That's why the table now overflows where once it was barren. Because you learned how to feed yourself. Your spirit became the banquet. And now, nothing that comes with hidden conditions can sit beside you. Judgment, dear soul, is not a punishment. It is a summons, a call to truth, a mirror for those who twisted what was yours. Your home, your inheritance, your peace. 10 of Swords marks the point of no return. The door behind you is sealed. The cycle has ended. A ruthless force once manipulated from the shadows. She hid behind masks and contracts, pulling strings, blocking truth, spreading illusion. But the Queen of Swords does not control the wheel. The wheel moves on its own. And it has already turned because you moved it with your labor, your tears, your discipline. Eight of Pentacles whispers, nothing sacred can stay unless it is built by your own hands. So I tell you now, work quietly, not passively, but purposefully. Your steadiness keeps the door of destiny open. Your rhythm holds back the chaos they hoped would distract you. Four of Swords invites rest, a moment of sacred stillness where your mind no longer battles ghosts. Five of Swords teaches. Not every battle deserves your presence. Not every provocation deserves your voice. Sometimes, not answering is the only answer needed. And above it all, the star shines. Not as fantasy, but as a lighthouse in your own soul. The tower still looms, but its collapse is no longer your concern. It was built on hatred, on illusions, on stolen names and borrowed magic. Let it fall. You are not the one buried in its rubble. You are the one rising from its dust. Two of Coins now sits in your palm, teaching you not scarcity, but wisdom. If today you hold little, spend less. If tomorrow you receive more, save more. Balance is not punishment. It is power, and just there, on the edge of the new horizon. Ace of Cups ripples with new emotion. Fresh love, a perspective, untainted by past contracts. A sacred heart that does not owe anyone for its purity. The sun warms your back, not to expose, but to bless. Eight of Cups confirms it. Your departure was not dramatic. It was dignified. It was deserved. And that dignity draws in everything real. Archangel Michael now stands at your threshold, not so you may fight again, but so you no longer fear. Where dark vows were made, he brings the sword. Where spells were cast in your name, he breaks the bond. If you say, I choose light, he clears the path before you. Two women plotted. One faded with sickness, the other conjured illusion. Between them, a third voice rises, a man perhaps, who finally speaks what others tried to bury. But truth never dies in silence. You are never the one to decide their downfall. The invisible laws have already moved. In the web of names, money, houses, and health, someone wants to reach you. They tried, but their body couldn't carry the truth long enough. Let the news come to you, without revenge, without fire. Let it arrive like a sigh, and pass like a feather in the wind. I know what you gave. I know what you opened. You lent without hesitation. You offered hands, heart, and home. And in return, your generosity was used as evidence against you. Your kindness became a currency for gossip. But the spirit realm keeps better records. The chariot still rolls forward. The wheel still spins in purity. And now, suddenly, you say no, without guilt, and it echoes with maturity. They tried to confuse you with gifts, with favors wrapped in strings. But remember, if it comes with an invisible invoice, bless it and let it pass. Ace of Swords is your clarity. The Empress is your wellness, and the lover of the past, the one who vanished or betrayed, still lives in their tower, buried beneath what they tried to hide. But truth remains heavy and cannot be magicked away. Let your path speak without shouting. Let your peace vibrate louder than their curses. You are no longer accessible for manipulation. Say your name aloud. Declare it wrapped only in light. The chariot is no blind race. It is a guided journey. You now steer away from where your soul used to collapse. You no longer explain your distance. You simply choose it. That is soul maturity. They're angry, not because you changed, but because they can no longer write your role into their script. Now, it is they who hang. The hanged man turns toward their mirror, and they can't escape their own eyes. Meanwhile, your Knight of Cups walks quietly, delivering the message inward. Not to retreat, but to feel again. To feel and then choose. That is sovereignty. And the sword in your hand, it is not revenge. It is finality. Speak only once and close the door. The Queen reminds you, self-respect is not arrogance, it is your altar. Nurture only what honors you. Do not feed what devours you. And if they fall, if you hear of sickness, loss, or collapse, know that it is not your celebration. It is simply the scale returning to balance. They thought they had a star, but it was your prayer that lit their path. And now that your prayer has ceased, the room grows dim, coins scatter without purpose, and their soul remains untouched by light. Do not pray for what once harmed you. Instead, pray that it be released from hatred, so it no longer seeks to curse your name on sacred nights meant for peace. If you must speak your name, speak it softly and sanctify it. My name belongs to the light. As for your work, 8 of Pentacles whispers that many eyes follow you now from behind the veil. 4 or 5, maybe more. Let them watch. Clarity is your shield. You do not need to explain your rise. Those meant to walk with you will walk beside you. The rest will fall away when they see they can no longer hold you down. Four of Swords becomes your temple, a place to rest when memories try to wound you with what you've outgrown. Sometimes the most powerful response is one steady breath. No war, no speech, just peace. The Queen of Swords may play her game. Sickness, silence, subversion, but not forever. Judgment always rings. Even muffled, its bells strike through denial. And when they ring too loud to ignore, when their deeds come unraveled, the stories they try to pin on your back will collapse under their own weight. 10 of Swords already pierced the lie. The betrayal is sealed. That chapter is over. Don't revisit it out of curiosity. Longing often hides behind curiosity, and not everything you longed for was ever truly yours. The Star offers you simple rituals: a glass of water on your table, a white candle on Sundays, 3 minutes of silence before you open your eyes. Nothing elaborate, just the sacred remembering that your home is a temple. If someone offers strange rituals, asks for your photo, your birth details, your energy, walk away. Real protectors do not demand sacrifice, they offer safety. Archangelic energy now steps forward, not for vengeance, but for protection. 3 will fall, not to punish, but because their foundations were false. Do not rejoice, do not grieve. Just understand, one manipulated money, one lost themselves inside a house, one will drag your name through back halls and phones. But the tower does not discriminate. It falls wherever there is no ground beneath. You don't need to accuse. You don't need to scream. Let your quiet clarity be your witness. Justice requires your integrity, not your retaliation. The sun rises not to dramatize, but to soften. Joy is not noise. Joy is presence. The suit of cups now reveals itself, not through flashy romance or false apologies, but through a gentle conversation, an unmasked gaze, a love that does not demand you explain the past. 8 of Cups helps you never again crave what once wounded you. You leave the cave, not out of fear, but out of growth. And now let us speak of your body, because spiritual wounds leave footprints in physical form. Emotions long suppressed manifest as fatigue, unexplained illness, or heaviness in your limbs. This is where Ace of Swords must be raised, to cut the cord that feeds what no longer nourishes. 8 of Pentacles reclaims your rhythm, water, sleep, food that honors the body. 4 of Swords, rest without guilt. 2 of Pentacles, balance between giving and receiving. The Star, a daily act of self-devotion, not as vanity, but as spiritual hygiene. You will notice your schedule shift, your energy realign, and at work, where jealousy may swirl, you will no longer explain yourself. Let your results speak. Let silence guard what the ego cannot reach. If someone brings you conflict, offer only a simple answer, or none at all. 5 of Swords teaches, some battles can't be won even when you win. Withdraw gracefully when conversation turns to accusation. And always remember this, your chariot moves forward. If you race with those running in circles, they'll only drain your fuel. I see the pairs. Those close to you, family-like figures who opposed your joy. With them, hold the 2 of Coins. Balance. Offer no more than what's asked. Ask for no more than they can give. Because healing is not healing is preserving your energy and redirecting your power toward the life that now opens for you. Boundaries are not a rejection. They are a map drawn by truth. If you're invited to places that drain you, where laughter feels sharp, where your voice is dimmed, you owe no apology for not attending. Let them be offended. They offend you even in your silence. You've been waiting for a day when the truth would arrive with clarity. It will. The one who wanted to speak openly could not. Their body no longer holds the strength. Your efforts, dear soul, cracked something open, and through that crack, light has begun to leak in. Justice too, not all at once, but steadily. And in the meantime, keep your inner house clean. Don't clutter your sacred board with outdated defenses. The wheel already moved your piece off the board they tried to trap you on. Knight of Wands urges you now, if a new door appears, even small, walk through it. If a worthy invitation comes, even brief, accept it. If your body pleads for rest, answer it. That's how you honor your inner star, by living your present day, not waiting for a perfect one. And when you sense the shadow of the Queen of Swords, a glance, a phrase, a silence that echoes control, remember, you owe no response. Some answers are contracts. Silence is also a sword. You may hear of someone's passing, of illness, of hardship. Let the news pass like wind. You are not the author of their story, nor the interpreter. If asked your thoughts, simply say, "What we plant, we harvest." then continue your walk. That's the speech of the righteous. Not cold, but clear. And if one morning you wake with a fear that doesn't belong to you, recognize it. It may be someone else's rage, echoing through old soul ties. Speak your name aloud. I belong to light. Say it with the clarity of the Ace of Swords. Drink water. Open your windows. Let sunlight rest on your forehead. Place your hand on your chest for 3 quiet minutes. The spirit will remember itself. When asked about your faith, don't preach. Tell your story. Tell them you saw the tower fall, not upon you, but in the distance. That you heard the whisper of stars in a night so quiet it taught you reverence. That the chariot pulled you from mud. That the hanged man reversed your vision. That Knight of Cups returned your softness. And that Ace of Swords told you no with divine clarity. Tell them the Empress set bread at your table. That judgment spoke for you when your voice failed. That 10 of Swords held the final blade. That the Queen of Swords no longer touches you. That the Wheel of Fortune cleansed what no longer binds you. That 8 of Pentacles gave you devotion. That 4 and 5 of Pentacles taught strategic withdrawal. That the star didn't abandon you in the dark. That the tower was never your prison. That 2 of Pentacles taught you to hold 2 worlds without breaking. That Ace of Cups and the Sun welcomed you into a morning that no longer needed forgiveness, only presence. That 8 of Cups sanctified your departure, not as an escape, but as a vow. And now, Sagittarius, this is the sacred moment that asks for closure, not to seal you, but to realign you. What had to fall, has fallen. What is fated, will be revealed. What is yours, will arrive on time. Your only task, stay present. Choose wisely who walks beside you. If you look back, thank the pain for letting you go. If you look ahead, stand firm on sacred ground. The chariot moves forward, the wheel turns, the star points the way, the sword defends, the Empress nourishes, judgment balances, the tower clears what doesn't belong. 2 of Pentacles organizes, 8 of Pentacles stabilizes, 4 and 5 of Swords recalibrate, and finally, Ace of Cups and the Sun ignite your radiance. 8 of Cups honors your grace. If you hear of those who once rose now falling, remember, you are not the judge, you are the witness. If love arrives, offering less promises but more truth, recognize its melody. If work opens, enter it with humility. If your body calls, listen deeply. If old wounds whisper, breathe. If doubt flickers, ask silence, because silence, dear one, is the language of stars. And now, let the elder in you prepare the table with tenderness in your gaze. What spirit has shown you was never outside of you. It always lived within you. Walk with your head high, not because the future belongs to you, but because you've earned the right to walk in it, awake. And if ever you wonder why you didn't fall when everything was positioned against you, whisper gently, because someone lifted me. And that someone is the gathering of every guide, every ancestor, every light-bearing soul who remembered you even when you forgot yourself. Good fortune is born not only from divine timing, but from the quiet strength of your own decisions. And if these words have stirred something deep within you, if they've helped you see your path more clearly, then may your presence be the blessing that keeps this light alive. If you feel guided, support this sacred space by liking the message and staying with us for the next unfolding. You are the reason this channel of spirit remains open. Now let me take your hand gently, not to add anything new, but to refine what Spirit has already shown you. What the Chariot revealed in your movement, what the Hanged One whispered in pause, what the Knight of Cups carried in feeling, what the Ace of Swords etched in truth, what the Empress nurtured, what the Ten of Swords concluded, what the Queen of Swords conspired, what the Wheel of Fortune purified, what the Eight of Pentacles grounded, what the Four and Five of Swords disrupted, what the Star promised, what the Tower collapsed, what the Two of Pentacles balanced, and what the Ace of Cups and the Sun now awaken. The road has been long, but it has also been sacred. Eight of Cups walks beside you now. Not to lead an escape, but to sanctify your retirement from pain. All has been said. Let your voice soften now, so the last pieces fall gently into place. The spirit world has witnessed your journey. That's why justice arrives not rushed, not delayed, but exactly as it must. To those who once used your name in rituals of harm, who walked through temples of shadow, who sought to break your peace, your anger no longer belongs to them. Their projection is not your reflection. Chariot says, do not be baited. Hanged One confirms, the stillness is theirs, not yours. Knight of Cups reminds, emotion is not retreat, but noble choosing. And if they return with gifts, with veiled obligations, remember what you've learned. Truth cannot be bought. Ace of Swords speaks with clarity. You do not need to respond. The Queen now draws a boundary. The door closes. Your heart stays whole. The wheel rolls on, carrying you away from draining rooms, complaining coals, and hallways where your name was misshaped. This isn't bitterness. This is purification. You haven't stopped loving. You've simply stopped betraying yourself. That's why Eight of Pentacles insists on sacred discipline. Tidy your space, honor your work, keep routines that restore a body tired of emotional warfare. Let Four of Swords be your nightly sanctuary. Let Five of Swords remind you, not every discussion is worth the bruise. Let the Star rest above your rooftop, your unseen compass. You know already. The whispering figures, 2 women, 1 man, are no longer a mystery. One fades with illness, one withholds truth through silence, and the third rearranges the pieces quietly. Let judgment unfold from a distance. It requires not your hand, only your absence. When the final bell rings, money, houses, possessions, what they took, what they twisted, will come to light. 10 of Swords has closed the wound. The betrayal has already struck. Don't be tempted to look back. Curiosity, when it aches, can reopen old contracts. Truth arrives best like clean water, not muddy, not shouted, but clear, unbloody. If you hear they plan to move, remember, your protection is not noise, it is presence. Archangelic energy guards your gate, sword raised, and if you must echo it, do so with grace. Wherever there is a knot, may it be cut. Wherever there is a contract made in shadow, may it be broken. Keep it simple. A glass of water, a white candle, your name spoken with reverence, and a quiet declaration. I sign nothing in the dark. I walk only in blessing. The rest, let it fall, for effort that feeds the dead only robs the living. In love, let the past remain in its tower. Do not let nostalgia dress itself as prayer and pull you back into the room you fought to leave. If you must pray, let it be a surrender. Let it be a wish that your name is never called again in anger on sacred days. And if you feel a sudden chill during those moments, you'll know it's not yours. Speak your name with clarity, like Ace of Swords drawn in light. But open your windows, let the sun kiss your forehead. Let Eight of Cups confirm your retreat was not fear, it was dignity. Let Two of Pentacles remind you, don't overload your heart by giving more than it holds. Balance is not poverty, it is wisdom. In your work, do not waste your fire chasing those who spiral. Let your results speak. Let your energy remain silent where noise once lived. If you need to close your eyes now, do. If you need to place your hand on your chest now, do. Because your light was never meant to be loud, only clear. Because your purpose was never to prove, only to preserve. And because your healing was never for others to approve, only for you to live. If whispers rise again, if rumors try to find you in the dark, let silence be your sanctuary. It is a wall taller than any defense. It is a sword sharper than argument. If someone wants war, remember Five of Swords. There are battles where even victory leaves you emptier. Let the wheel do the turning. Let karma do the cutting. The ones who destroy never build, and the ones who refuse to build collapse beneath the weight of their own illusions when the tower arrives. Loyal only to gravity and truth. To the relatives, partners, or people who once opposed your joy, hold your boundaries without apology. Balance doesn't break bloodlines. It redefines them. If you leave a reunion more exhausted than restored, you've received your answer. The Empress advises you, care for yourself, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Sometimes the highest loyalty is refusing to let your home become a battleground. News will come from someone who wanted to speak but could not. Their efforts created the crack, and through that crack, truth has begun to enter, and you'll realize you didn't need a confrontation. You needed a quiet closure, a door closed with love, not rage. If someone asks you about their story, answer only with a law of judgment. Each soul carries the weight they created. You don't owe them your voice in their trial. You've been dragged through enough corridors of gossip. Today, your sign calls for sacred simplicity. Work, eat, rest, give thanks, maintain your rituals of light. Ace of Cups will arrive not with fireworks, but in a quiet gesture. The sun does not chase you. It waits where you remember how to be still. Joy in its truest form is peace, not noise. And yes, there are eyes watching. 4 or 5, perhaps more. Let them. When you stop resisting, the masks fall faster. Their steps will grow clumsy in halls built on lies. They will fall. One who manipulated money, one who dismantled the family, one who whispered your name across someone else's phone. But this is not revenge. This is law. Unwritten, unbending, undeniable. And if on a quiet day you suddenly feel overwhelmed, return to the chariot, pick up the reins, rename the map, redraw your course. That is enough. The Hanged One taught you to see differently. Knight of Cups showed you how to feel without shame. Ace of Swords taught you to cut with clarity. The Empress taught you to nurture without losing yourself. Judgment reminded you truth reveals itself without your hands. 10 of Swords ended the loop. Queen of Swords taught you to recognize coldness. The Wheel asked you to accept the cycle. 8 of Pentacles gave you the gift of dedication. 4 and 5 of Swords whispered when to step back. The Star reassured you silently. The Tower reminded you other people's collapses are not your burden. 2 of Pentacles guided your balance. Ace of Cups and the Sun revealed joy without demands. 8 of Cups blessed your graceful departure. Now, dear Archer, light the candle, clear the table. Even if my voice pauses, let the flame remain. What had to fall has fallen. What must be seen is approaching. What belongs to you will arrive without force. If you look back, do so with gratitude. If you look forward, walk gently and with grace. And if doubt knocks on your door, open it with one sentence: I choose light. If this message touched your soul, if it met your hand at just the right moment, support this sacred space. Like the reading, subscribe to stay connected. Your presence strengthens this altar of light and allows us to continue sharing Spirit's voice with you.